Bottled water and good marketing, exploring the business strategies of the water industry. Businesses exist for almost anything, including food, clothing, and sports. One place that business exists where you may not imagine is water. The water industry is actually quite large and has existed for many, many years. The history of the water industry can date all the way back to ancient civilizations, when cities such as Rome sought to provide aqueducts to give safe drinking water to their citizens. However, the Industrial Revolution was what led to crowded cities, and that caused an increased need for a public water system with more regulations. This is what has led to the emergence of private water companies that we see today. These companies make tons of revenue off of selling water. So how big is the water industry? According to Maxwell, who wrote Market Outlook, How Big is the Water Industry? The U.S. market is valued at $105 billion with an overall growth rate of 7%. However, the global market is even larger, valued at either $540 billion to $655 billion per year, depending on the source. On top of that, the industry has many, many employees. So overall, you can say the industry is pretty big. Some of these jobs include developers, chemical producers, engineers, firms, and others. One of the biggest questions is whether or not bottled water is better than tap water. While it is often perceived that bottled water is better than other drinking sources, however, this is not true. Oftentimes, people assume that bottled water is healthier and tap water is unsafe. However, studies show that only 5% of the bottled water purchased in Cleveland had the required fluoride recommended by the state, but the sampled tap water had 100% met this requirement. This is because the bottled water industry is less regulated than the tap water industry. This is for a variety of reasons, but most likely it is due to the fact that different organizations test and certify both tap water and bottled water. Bottled water is also much worse for the environment, as many plastic bottles are thrown out each year. Another downside to bottled water is that it is much pricier than tap water. Bottled water can be around $1.50 on average and can even go up to $3 or more at certain events and venues. Meanwhile, tap water is nearly free. So if tap water is better, the question is, why do people prefer bottled water? The simple answer is business. There are so many business strategies that are implemented to convince people to buy bottled water. First strategy is that it has been implemented that using bottled water is a way better way of life. A lot of people are used to it and are told by their surroundings that it is much more secure, healthier, and safer. This is all due to really good marketing. Marketing is the first business strategy used for water industry and is probably the most used one. There are many different forms of marketing. For example, Nestle has a website in which they promote their water brand and explain how using bottled water is much healthier and safer than using tap water. Other marketing strategies include branding themselves, being environmentally friendly, and packaging logos and association. Other business strategies include the industry size and growth rate. Since there's such a high demand for water, future companies have a higher rate of success. Another thing that works is having a business plan that outlines how the business will work in order to ensure success. Finally, the most important strategy is innovation. Having innovation allows companies to do things that other companies aren't doing in order to create more products that consumers will want. Some of these in the water industry include things such as flavored water, which is often picked up by consumers. Finally, it is important to discuss privatization and the monopolization of water. So essentially, bottled water is slowly being taken over by large companies, and these companies are intending to control the market. This is a problem because this is going to create monopolies, since companies such as Arrowhead, Evian, and Nestle are going to take over. Another big issue is Nestle. Nestle CEO Peter Barbeck claimed that corporations should own every drop of water. This leads to issues about ethics and whether or not full privatization of water should be allowed. It should be said that a lot of people think that this should not be allowed because it is unfair to privatize the world's water, which is something that is a natural product. While bottled water might have its pros, the better choice is tap water. Not only is it safer and healthier, but it also is economically friendly and will save your money.